what is fraud. If there's a fraud which is an existing bankrupt, a dormant account, or a CFAS, I mean, those are very clear. If someone has exaggerated their turnover within the original application, given the implicit and inherent design of the scheme, the banks would never know. If they said my turnover is 250,000 instead of 200,000, the scheme was designed full speed. Therefore, the banks made no checks in terms of that. Now, you'd still say that's fraud. I think we'd all say that's fraud.
So it depends on the type of fraud, effectively.
It depends on the type of fraud.
Yeah. Okay, Anne.
But I think this comes back to the position of all the banks and the BBB made to HMT back in May. The government, Treasury, the Chancellor, wanted to do the right thing and get money into the hands of businesses that are failing quickly. And as a consequence of doing that, was going to give a guarantee to banks that if people didn't pay that money back, or if people self-certified and got it wrong, then the government would stand back by that guarantee. So yes, fraudsters will get through the system. And that's why Starling are so keen on doing everything we can to stop that happening. But if the fraudster gets through and they self-certify something and they lie, then that will be a claim against the taxpayer. And that is the consequence of this scheme. And we all did it with our eyes open. And that is the challenge that the British Business Bank, the banks made to HMT and the Chancellor, and it was decided to go ahead. And it was the right decision. It was the right decision to get money out there quickly. And this is the consequence.
I think Susan was trying to get in.
Yeah, Susan, were you trying to get in there?
Yeah, just to make one point. I mean, I absolutely endorse everything Anne said. There were some trade-offs in the scheme, and this was certainly one of them. The other thing I'd just like to point I'd like to make is that it's not, the banks are not, having done all of our checks at the beginning, which we all did very rigorously to make sure that we were lending in as strong a position as we could to people who we were no fraud markers, no KYC markers. Subsequent to the drawdown, however, we've been analysing and looking at the behaviour through the current accounts. And if we see something that looks inconsistent with the application, then we will pick that up through our normal monitoring and do some sort of contact with the customer to try and understand the situation. So if something looks unusual post drawdown, we will follow that through. We're not just going to sit there, because clearly this is taxpayers' money. So we want to make sure that that money is being used to the best as we can in the way it was intended. And we will follow up. It's not just that we will just leave it and think, the government is going to provide a guarantee. We are absolutely committed to following through and rooting out anything that looks like fraudulent activity, even post the drawdown.